did you think back in 1968 when the civil rights movement was, you know, at full steam ahead, society's opinion about things like mixed marriage was beginning to change? You know, mixed race dating was beginning to change. I was probably a freshman in high school and very idealistic. Did not think, and really this is the question for you, that 50 years later there would be such hate-filled rhetoric in this country, and that you would still have segregated neighborhoods and you would still have segregated schools. I never thought that we would still be experiencing this. I thought it would be a much different world than what it is. And one of the things that I wonder, and I hear everything you're saying, John, about the economy and survival, but I almost feel like racism is practically a doctrine like religion, and you believe what you believe because you're taught it from birth, and there's no moving that mountain. And there's been so many other changes in society. You know, you can pass all the drunk driving laws you want, but if drunk driving deaths are down, it's because it's not socially acceptable anymore to, you know, drink yourself into a stupor and then get behind the wheel. People don't do that anymore. They might have back in 1971, but they don't now.
Since then, in between then, we've had a Gulf of Tonkin resolution, which says that Congress is going to be on top of that, and then the War Powers Act. And you go through all the wars that we've been in. As I said once before, I had a book on my shelf. It was called America's Longest War. I had to cross that out because Vietnam is no longer our longest war. And just the manpower and the resources that we expend on that, because I think it could be redirected elsewhere along some of the lines of what we're talking about.
The specifics have certainly changed. I mean, yes, we have U.S. troops in over 1,000 bases in 138 countries right now. Yes, there are wars going on constantly. You know, why are 4 black U.S. troops killed in Chad, for example? What the hell are they doing there? You know, the world has changed. The Cold War is over, but folks are trying to get a new Cold War. They need an excuse for Hillary losing the election. She lost because she didn't campaign in Michigan and the others. She gave up on the working class, and the working class gave up on her. And I think there's a lesson for the corporate Democrats right now. They have to figure out, are they fish or fowl? Are they tools of finance capital, or are they defenders of immigrant kids and working folks and so forth? So that's still there, and it's going to keep going. All through the history of this country, there's been sort of a spiral, a helix of 2 major strands. You know, for every a slaveholder, you've had an abolitionist. You know, for every war maker, you've had a peace activist. You know, and that's ongoing, and it's going to keep on going. We're not there yet, and quite frankly, now more real probably since the days of Andy Jackson, fascism is a possibility in this country. The social base is being organized. I don't think the powers that be are ready to go that way, and Donald Trump isn't necessarily the independent operative. There are too many other forces at play, business certainly, and others. But I also see folks who are coming together. The folks that came out of the Bernie Sanders campaign called Our Revolution. The Indivisibles, you know, folks, you know, we have a meeting in the Church of the Presidents in the Square on early in January, right before the inauguration, and a standing room only, overflowing with folks from around Quincy and the surrounding towns that want to figure out how we're going to come together and new ways of people aligning. So I think, on the one hand, there are a lot of people that care.
I just have a great deal of faith in the American people that no matter what obstacles we're going to confront, that there will be enough of us who will be able to rise to the challenge, so to speak. I just believe that.